Dusty May and his comments on NIL. Whenever a coach talks about NIL, it always perks me up to see what they think and what their thoughts are. Dusty in particular this time he didn't really necessarily like go in on NIL. Some of these coaches really get mad about it. I watched the press conference. I was really impressed with the way that Dusty handled himself. Obviously he didn't look, he's not somebody that particularly likes NIL. I think that he's glad players are getting paid, but just the whole thing around it with, guys just trying to get a bag and stuff like that, you can tell that's not really something he enjoys. But I was really impressed with the way he talked about it and just some of the stuff he had to say. There's a quote there at the bottom. If you're listening on podcast, I'll read it. Dusty May said on NIL, if the absolute top dollar is what you're looking for, then we're probably not going to have what you're looking for. Dusty's just pointing out that like relationships, development, stuff like that, that's going to be the stuff that he continues to point to. He's not saying they're not paying guys, but he is saying that like you're not going to find the deepest bag here. Like this isn't somewhere where AJ Storr is going to go make, $1.5 million or something like that. AJ Storr can go there and get developed. Obviously that didn't happen, but he could go there and get developed, but he's not going to go there and make $1.5 million. So Kent, your thoughts, does Michigan have NIL issues, or is Dusty May just being smart with the way he's approaching NIL?
I don't know. I didn't write this down, but it just came to me. It's just so ironic that the University of Michigan is the place where they're claiming that they're not going to pay players now. It's just funny to me. Like, Jalen Rose is like, seriously? We used to get paid back in the day. No, I think that I forgot what you even asked, but I think it was smart what he said, whether it's true or not, because he gets out in front of it and kind of, first of all, he looks good by saying that. Like, I care about other things other than money, and that's what all coaches should be saying anyways. It should be about developing the players and building relationships, like you said, JR. But also, it just kind of sets the precedent year one for anyone who's looking to come into Michigan from the portal or wherever, even high school kids, that, you're not going to get the biggest amount of money coming there. And that's something that, it's out there now. So he can say, I already told you that you're not getting X amount of dollars. So he's out in front of it. And like I said, whether that's a smart thing to say, it's smart to say it because at least it's out there now. So that's kind of how I feel about him saying that.
Russ, what do you think?
I mean, I saw it as his way of kind of trying to get some more people to donate. We saw it pick up steam this last football season where more and more coaches are coming out going, hey, we don't exactly have the most money in NIL, so if you could donate, I went to the Purdue spring game and more than once they're like, hey, there's the collective, like if you want to donate and want the best players, I think that coaches are more and more going to find ways to always make it seem like they're just the poorest program and we need more money and please donate. Well, it's also kind of a shot at where Michigan basketball has been the last couple of years, right? Like you got to win games to get money, so until they start winning games, you're not going to see alumni going, yeah, here, take all my money. Like, let's go, like I think there was after the Purdue game this year, there was one of the Michigan players was complaining about the fans not showing up to the game. And it's like, well, win games. If you don't want Purdue to be the home team at Michigan, you're going to have to put a good product on the floor. And that shows the ability of the coach. Like, how can you put the pieces together and develop them to then just kind of build momentum and get more NIL money, go get better players, et cetera, et cetera. But my favorite part about that press conference from Dusty May was when he talked about the locker room needing to be full of people that sacrifice, right? Like, especially if you're going to have a winning program and a winning team, you're going to have people that are starter calibers coming off the bench, or maybe even playing very minimal minutes, or sacrificing looks and sacrificing shots because there's only one basketball. Not everybody on the team can average 15 shots a game. So, I think it is the new way of NIL. I think that's how it's kind of balancing out is, you can't, you have these players for maybe 1 year now, at most 4 years. Like you can't promise them the world and give them a bag and then turn around and ask the donors for, hey, give me a few more million now.
You don't think this year's team was sacrificing, Russ? Michigan's team? You don't think they were sacrificing?
They were sacrificing wins. That's what they were doing.
They definitely were doing that.
Doug was not sacrificing his time in studying, though. That was not something he sacrificed. So, sorry, Doug. That was a shot. But so just to read what Russ was talking about there, I was planning on reading this part because I do think it might kind of be a little bit of Dusty May talking about a certain transfer portal guy, but we'll get into that here in just a second. Dusty May said, right now, that's probably not feasible. I think everyone in our locker room will be making sacrifices, whether it's financial, whether it's minutes, and that's ultimately great team. Have probably got 8 or 9 guys that deserve a start that is capable of starting. So he's saying that he wants his team to have 8 or 9 guys deep that are capable of starting. And if you have that, obviously, like, there's not many schools out there. Yes, Michigan is a very large school and they, very well could have a lot of people donating, but there's not many schools out there that can pay, 8 or 9 starting caliber players to be on their team, especially if not all of them are going to be starting at some point. Kent, somebody that was directly linked with Michigan because of his old coach being Dusty May was Johnell Davis. And there were rumors about, Johnell Davis wants this big bag. And yes, he wanted to go play for Dusty May. At one point, there was rumors that like he didn't fit in academically. We found out pretty quickly that the guy that was reporting that was a fraud. And I think most people have figured that out by now, but he'll tweet whatever he tweets just to get interactions and things like that. But at the end of the day, like, you think this was Dusty May talking about Johnell Davis a little bit and being like, hey, dude, like, if you didn't want to come here to play on a good team, get developed and stuff like that, if you're not willing to sacrifice, there's not a place here for you. What do you think, Kent? Thanks for checking out the College Huddle. We'll be right back, but please do like and subscribe. We do want to make sure you know that we have a new episode every single day focusing in on a different conference. You can also visit thecollegehuddle.com to find a list of all of our podcast partners and great articles written by me and so many others. Please do go check us out. We appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the episode.
I thought that the quote that I actually pulled a different quote that was more of a direct shot at him, but
oh, read it.
Maybe it wasn't, but the part that I took as a shot was if there's a young player that has a very limited value professionally and they have a chance to maximize that. Is that the part? That's not the part you just read, is it?
No, that's not the part, but that is a good
He
part.
said if you have a chance to maximize your value to make the most money, basically go do that. I'm paraphrasing that last part, but if that wasn't a shot at him, then it certainly sounded like one. But I don't know. Obviously, Dusty May. I don't know Johnell Davis. So, and I don't know what their relationship is. And it would really come as a shock to me if that's how Dusty wanted to start his career at Michigan, is by taking shots at former players. So I think that it was more of a generalization than it was a direct, anecdote right straight to Davis. I that's how I took it. But when I read that part, I was like, ooh, that sounds like he could be talking about him directly, but maybe he probably wasn't, though. I don't think he was.
Well, and he might not be talking about him directly, but the experience could definitely impact like what he's thinking, right? Like, we know somebody like, and I know this isn't a football show, but we know somebody like Nick Saban was always talking to his players in the press conference whenever things like that were going on. Like, you could tell stuff that was going on. But I think sometimes coaches just say stuff because of something that's going on, because it's fresh in their mind and it's something that's going on. And like, if I'm Dusty May and Johnell Davis is like requiring a bag, and I'm like, dude, I've been your coach for years now. We went to a Final Four together. Like, Vlad is coming here. You need to like put this stuff aside. Like, there's so many more important things in life than just like getting a bag. I mean, he could just be hurt as well. So it might not be him taking a shot, but it might just be fresh on his mind. So I think it's a good point, Kent.
Where did he end up going?
Oh, where was it? I'll have to look it up.
I'll look it up.
Okay. Russ, what were you thinking while we look it up?
Yeah, while you're looking that up, I was just thinking it was more like a laying the groundwork of his, idea of how he's going to build a team, like his foundation and how he's going to have conversations with any recruit or any transfer portal player. Like, this is the way I see it. This is my philosophy. If the shoe fits, then wear it. But it's not a personal thing. It's just, I'm going to build my team this way. I want to lean towards, he even talked about leaning towards recruits. Like, he enjoys building a team, building relationships. And he compared the transfer portal to speed dating, right? So because it's hot and heavy, real fast. You got to just jump in there, get your name out there, and then hope the guy works out. And that's why I think a lot of the transfer portal guys don't work out and they play for 3 or 4 different teams already at this point in their career, because, what's more likely to work out in a relationship, right? a long courting relationship and figuring out their likes and dislikes and, and working your way into it and then making it last long term, or a 30-second date and deciding whether you're going to get into a year-long relationship with this person.
He ended up committing to Arkansas, by the way, which if he was looking for a bag, he's not going to find it there, is he? There's no way.
I mean, Arkansas.
Yeah, Calipari. Part of that deal he took was that he was going to get a bunch of money.
That was a joke about Calipari, yeah, for sure.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Oh,
it missed.
I was going to say, like, I guess I could see like they paid Calipari too much. This is another thing I think, and this isn't so much related to Michigan, is like I heard somebody say it the other day, and I want to get you guys' thoughts on it. I know we're running out of time, so we'll do this quick. But like, do you think there's a strategy out there for some of these schools to like hire a coach that costs less money so they can put more money in NIL? Because like the guy that he referenced, and I'm not trying to be Homer here and talk about him, but the guy that he referenced was Jake Diebler, where he said, look at Ohio State. They're spending all this much money in the portal going after guys from Kentucky, guys from Duke, stuff like that. I mean, if you look at Diebler, if you look at his contract, like he's making pennies compared to other Big Ten coaches, but they have the NIL to go after some of these big name guys right now. Like, do you guys see that being a possibility, or am I crazy here?
I hope that's not going to happen. I mean, that's definitely not the intention of NIL, is for the school to pour money into getting more players and paying coaches less. So I hope that doesn't happen, but will it happen? Absolutely. Absolutely, that's going to happen somewhere. But it seems illegal. And you know what? I can't stand for anything illegal anymore. I can't do it. We need some rules. You're not allowed to do that, schools. You got to pay the coach as much money as you possibly can. You're not allowed to donate to your own school's NIL. That has to be funded by the fans and outside sources. And, if I have to start a committee to monitor this, I'll do it. And the first person I'm hiring is you guys.
Kent loves the NCAA. You heard it here first. Kent loves the NCAA. He wants order everybody.
He's just trying to create a new NCAA. A better
more
NCAA.
Government. That's what I want in the NCAA. More government. It's always worked. Look at history, guys.
We need a dictatorship here. This isn't a democracy. Russ, your thoughts on paying a coach less to get more NIL?
Yeah, so that was, some sources and things I heard around here, being in close to the Kentucky area, was that was part of the deal for Calipari going to Arkansas. Is he did take a pay cut, and part of the deal and part of the negotiation was, how much is the bankroll going to be for NIL here if I come here? How much are the donors? How much are people going to give for me to build my roster or bring guys with me or whatever? And it's 100% part of the game now. Is what it is.
No, I agree.
Kim Jong-Kent.
Dylan's unhinged here. Kim Jong-Kent over here.